Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to my first live show on this channel. Appreciate you all in the chat already. I can see we've got Toby, Stephen, morning to you. Paul, morning. Retro NUFC, good morning to you too. Who else have we got? Andy, good morning, Andy. Yeah, so great. So we've got a few things coming up today, really. I thought we'd look at some different stuff, as you can see from the title of the video. We'll talk about the Newcastle Takeover, obviously. We're going to look at haircuts, and I've got a bit of a challenge for you that hopefully some of you can have a go at as well. And some other stuff too. Who else we got? Peter Robson's just joined us. Morning, Peter. Good to see you. It is early, but I thought most Newcastle live streams tend to be at night, so I thought I'd do one in the morning just to see if it was see if anyone was up at this time, I guess. I'm always up with my kids early in the morning anyway, so they're tucked away at the moment watching TV elsewhere, but I thought we could get into it. So how's everyone feeling about the Takeover? I'm feeling pretty positive at the moment. I think it's been a pretty significant week, and I think that I'm pretty certain it's now going to happen. I mean, certainly even like the newspaper outlets and media outlets who were kind of down on it and trying to create problems with all the stories that they've been putting in, trying to derail the deal, even they're now saying that it's been green lighted and it's literally just a case of waiting for the announcement. So I don't know, how's everyone feeling about that? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, Toby 1986, he says bet he feels better today after hearing Poch's timely interview. Yeah, that was an interesting one, wasn't it? That kind of broke last night about Pochettino, and he was obviously, he's now off gardening leave with Tottenham, so there's no compensation if whoever appoints him. And he also said in that interview that he would be open to managing a team outside of the top six, and that he did want to manage back in the Premier League. So obviously, you know, that's a big plus for Newcastle in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Andy says, Takeover will happen, I'm just impatient. I totally feel you. I think we're all like that. It's really frustrating, isn't it? It's gone on and on and on, and we all thought maybe at the end of April it would be done, and now we're getting towards the end of May. But there is a bit of light at the end of that tunnel, I think, now. I've just spotted there Gordon Smith, good morning. Gordon is my dad. So morning, Dad. Nice of you to join us. I've got a bit of in fact, we'll get into that now, actually, or in a couple of minutes. I've got one of my features that I want to do on these live shows each week is speak to a fan. So I'd quite like someone each week to sort of chat to me and just find out a bit about why you support Newcastle, your favourite memories and that sort of thing. So my guinea pig this week for the first show was my dad. So I had a chat with him last night, and I've got a couple of minutes of that to play for you in a little bit. Okay, let's see what else has gone on in the comments. Probably, yeah, Stephen Lamb. Yeah, probably announced after Eid, which is obviously happening, I believe, now, isn't it? I think Ramadan ended yesterday. I think it was Friday that it ended. So is Eid today? I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's certainly this weekend. So yeah, that would make sense as well, wouldn't it? Peter Robson's still positive it's happening, as the Bruce interview kind of told lots without actually telling anything concrete. I agree with that, actually. I think that I sort of mentioned that in my last video. I think that about Steve Bruce. He didn't have to say anything in his interview, and in a sense he was quite guarded, but the fact that he openly was speaking about things being different, essentially, I think was quite positive, so that was a good thing. And yeah, so let's get into it. So like I said, each week I would quite like someone to be a sort of fan of the week. So basically we'll have a chat over Zoom or whatever, and then we'll play it out each week. So this week was my dad, and actually we ended up speaking for quite a long time, but that's what me and my dad do. We talk about football a lot. Eid ends on the 24th of May. That's good to know. So Monday would be perfect timing for that, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I had a chat with my dad and I asked him a few questions about why he's a Newcastle supporter, and I started off by asking him what his best memory of being a Newcastle supporter was?
Well, without doubt, the 1974 Cup run. We drew West Brom away, and I went to that game, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. I have never seen anything like it. As we pulled up on the coach, it was just all Newcastle support.
Where do you like to sit at the match?
In the Gallagher end. I always do. It's just walking up to the Gallagher end in the early days was just, it was just amazing because it was just there in front of us with the steps and everything.
What's the best goal you've seen live?
I think it comes down to probably 2 goals.
Shearer's volley.
Shearer's volley.
Yeah.
And Marlon McDonald's goal at Hillsborough, the second one.
Who's your favourite player that's ever played for Newcastle?
That's almost impossible, isn't it? From Marlon McDonald was the first superstar. He was so arrogant, but he backed it up with what he did on the pitch. He scored goals. And Keegan, as a player, he was in his twilight of his career. Then you got Bearsy, Waddle, Gaza, Robert Lee, Ginola, and then, of course, Alan Shearer. For simply the effect that Alan Shearer had in terms of who he was and what he was, I think he's got to be high up on that list, really.
What do you think is the best strip we've ever had?
The Grandad shirt, 96 one. I love that strip. And actually, I like the away strip that season as well, the hoops. Yeah, that was just the best combo that we ever had, those two.
Do you believe that the takeover is going to happen?
Yes.
What things would you like the new owners to do in the first 12 months?
We need to have some direction for the club. We need to have a proper structured plan of the things they're going to improve. I don't want them to come in and just spend millions of pounds on players.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary. I think it needs to be. I think we need to take stock of what we've got. I think we need to see a plan of action to improve the team over a period of 12 to 24 months. I don't think Steve Bruce should be the manager. And that's not being disrespectful or saying that he hasn't done a decent enough job. And I think also what they've also got to tap into is us, as fans, the supporters. We are the biggest assets in a way this club has ever had, really. That the support for this club and the feeling around that city is incredible.
So, what do you think? Do you agree with Gordon, my dad? If this takeover goes through, do you want to see like a slow and steady build rather than them just coming in and spending millions and millions? I know there's financial fair play stuff, and that sort of says they can't necessarily do that, but they can still come in and spend quite a bit of money. So, what do you think to that? Would you like to see the club basically built from the ground upwards, and all those areas that Ashley has neglected for years kind of sorted out and dealt with properly, rather than just kind of trying to go for it? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a look at some of the comments that come through. Paul Jackson, the Leazes End was the place to be back in the day. Yeah, apparently so. I think my dad actually, in a bit that I didn't show there, he kind of mentioned the fact that the Leazes End was kind of popular, and he did spend some time in there in one season, and that was where generally the better atmosphere was at a time. I guess it's all about the Gallagher now, really, isn't it? That's kind of become the place where everyone wants to be, and it's kind of that's Newcastle's sort of special end, if you like. Andy Worth, the best strip we had was the one we wore with Keegan that got us into the Premier League. Yeah, that was a nice kit, wasn't it? That was the I guess the barcode kit, if you want to call it. I think it was the one with the thick stripes and thin stripes. And then, of course, at the last day of that season when we beat Leicester 7-1, we then changed to the Asics kit, which I really loved, actually. That was a really nice kit as well, with the blue away kit. That was pretty good. Yeah, Toby kind of agrees, I think, with what Gordon was saying about not spending stupid amounts of money and yeah, tapping into the fans. At the end of the day, what I want to see most of all is a proper relationship between the club and the fans, because again, that's something that's been really neglected and needs sorting, really. And I think it would be such an easy win for the new owners to come in and just make the fans feel special and part of it. Let me have a look. What else we got? Tom. Newcastle fans could have avoided all the stress and anxiety over recent weeks waiting for takeover competition if Companies House documents hadn't leaked. Yeah, I think I said this in one of my videos as well, that it's kind of cool that we've got fans who are really on it and like interested in finding stuff out. But in a sense, that the fact that people are checking Companies House and spotting any small change and then it's straight out there on social media, it just kind of leads to these kind of information that doesn't necessarily need to be known becoming public knowledge, and then it just gets everyone excited, and then when you have to wait like 2 months for the actual news to come. It feels like a long time, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Peter Robson, I'm not worried about them having structure. You don't make 350 billion without forward planning. That's true. yeah. They kind of they can make some money, can't they? So they've obviously they'll have a plan in place, I'm sure, and from all the sounds, the vibes that we're getting from, like, that we've had from, I guess, some of the journalists who've had contact with the buying side, is that they do have a clear plan, and that plan hopefully will be a sensible one and like a sustainable one. We should be challenging within 3 to 5 years for most major honours. Yeah, possibly. I mean, who knows? It could. The Premier League at the top is getting competitive. You've even got teams like Leicester and Wolves now who are pushing for those top 4 spaces. It would be lovely to challenge for a cup. I would just like to have some sort of cup run, really, and just try to win a cup. That would be good, wouldn't it? Sorry about that. Paul Jackson, Gallagher was half away supporters. Yeah, I remember the away supporters being in the Gallagher end at a time when I first started going. I think it was actually when they were redeveloping the Leazes end during the promotion season. I think they put the away fans in the Gallagher end that season. And Andy agrees, need to build from the ground upwards, top up the squad with 4 good players rather than a total overhaul. Yeah, sorry about that. Again, we had a chat speaking to Gordon last night, my dad. We kind of had that conversation about how we don't want to just break up this current squad, because actually there's some good players in this current squad, and it would be nice to see their ability maximised with better surrounding players. So I'm thinking of players like Almiron as a prime example, someone who clearly has talent, clearly works hard, the fans are behind him, and I just think if you surround him with better players, I think he'll shine, or be able to shine really brightly. That's what I reckon. Okay. Someone mentioned, I'm just trying to see, I think it was Peter mentioned about my hair. Smith Senior, your boy needs a trim. Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to talk about, my hair is just getting ridiculous, and I've not had a haircut for 2 months, and it's getting thick and awful and stuff. So what I thought was we could have a bit of a look at some dodgy haircuts, footballers' dodgy haircuts. So let me know which footballers have had the dodgiest haircuts in the past. Let me know in the comments below. I've come up with some here, some really dodgy ones going on here. So we've got, obviously, David Beckham's had a million haircuts, hasn't he? A million hairstyles in his life. And that one on the screen there with the braids and stuff wasn't one of his better ones, in my opinion. Then we've got Brazilian Ronaldo underneath with his dodgy World Cup '98 haircut. I don't know what the story is behind that one, but it's very dodgy. It's not a good haircut, is it? And then we've got Pogba there. He's another one who sort of changes his hair, as often as the weather changes, I guess. So that's just one example of his with the animal print on there. We've got our own Andy Carroll copying David Beckham there, which is it just looks awful, doesn't it? Terrible. And then Neymar as well. He's had quite a few sort of dodgy haircuts as well. And then of course a couple of ex-Newcastle players. I guess haircuts maybe of their day, but Chris Waddle there with a mullet, and then Kevin Keegan with his perm famously. So there we go. What do you think? Whose is the worst there? Can you think of anyone else that I've missed who's had a worse haircut than that? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a look. Oh, right. Sorry, I don't know if there's internet. Like I was saying earlier, I've had some internet issues this morning, so I hope that it's still kind of working all right. There we go. So yeah, let's go through some comments then. So Paul Jackson, first game he was at in 1973, Newcastle v Leicester. Peter Shilton in goal. Leicester's second keeper. I seem to remember my dad telling me a story about Peter Shilton getting lots of abuse at a Newcastle game once. I don't know if that was the game or whether it was a different game. It might have been after a World Cup, so 73 wouldn't be it, would it? Yeah, the favourite kit, the 96 kit was just great, wasn't it? Both of the 95 to 97 kits, the Grandad collar ones, they were the best. They were my favourite kits, definitely, I think. And the away kit was lovely. And that away kit we had, was it last season? That was the same design with the sort of, dark red, maroon and whatever colour hoops. They're really nice. It was nice that they did that again last year. Yeah, Tom, I agree. St James's does need a refurbishment. That's absolutely something that the new ownership need to sort out. And it's looking really tired at the moment, St James's Park. If you think it's like 20 years pretty much since they kind of extended it, made level 7 and everything, and obviously longer since the Gallagher was built as it was. It's like 25 years, isn't it? And it's just never really had a proper upgrade or anything like that. So Toby's saying he doesn't believe that an outlet like Forbes would put their credibility on the line. Yeah, I think that's pretty true. I think that's what's made me kind of more optimistic this week. The fact that there's some pretty serious news organisations putting things out there about the takeover, and sort of they wouldn't. You're not talking about tabloids here who sensationalise everything. These are kind of really respected organisations, so I kind of agree with that, I think. Peter Rob, I should keep growing it until takeover confirmed, then shave it all off. I'd look appalling if I shaved it off. That's the problem. If I shaved it all off, it would look even worse. So, yeah. God, yeah, he would have been at that match and had the program. Yeah, you've got a lot of programs in that garage. I know that, Dad. Oh yeah, Andy. Yeah, the Romanian team I remember that they all bleached their hair blonde, didn't they? And why did they do that? There was a reason why they did that. If you can remember, let me know. I remember that though. That was bad. The whole team looked shocking. That was really bad. Willie R88. Thanks for joining us, Willie. Newcastle friendlies. Do you think we'll play bigger teams in pre-season, such a tournament with the likes of Barcelona? Who would you like to play? Oh, that's a good question. I suspect what will happen is, if we're taken over by the Saudis, obviously, you can guarantee trips out to the Middle East, but I wouldn't be surprised to see us become part of some like big tournaments that are played in America and Asia and stuff like that. Who would I like to see us play? Friendlies never really bother me that much, if I'm honest, so I can't really get excited about these pre-season things, but I mean, obviously I would love to see us play Barcelona again in a competitive game. That would be an absolute dream, wouldn't it, to get back in the Champions League and play them. We'll see if that can happen. Fingers crossed it can. But yeah, we might play bigger teams in pre-season. I honestly don't know. You got scotch in that cup. Just water. Honestly, there's nothing dodgy going on. It's too early for cans yet. Yeah, Keith, thanks for joining us, Keith. I think it might be a mistake to buy too many new players too quickly. Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. We kind of want to see, I think the general feeling is we want to improve the squad, but we don't want to just get rid of what we have now. And actually, I think there are some decent players in that squad. I mean, I think we've got one of the best keepers in the Premier League in Dubravka. I think Fabian Schär is amazing. I think we've got Almiron, who I genuinely believe could be something special in this league. I just think he needs a better surrounding cast. So yeah, I would like to see us, bring in 3 or 4 players maybe in the summer, and then a couple more in January or whatever. Just build it up, and then within sort of 18 months to 2 years, then you build a squad that's kind of looking to be in the, really in the top half of the top half. Let's have a look. Thanks as well for the compliment, Willie. Appreciate that. So Gordon, you're referring to the Peter Shilton getting the abuse. It was after the England v Poland match in October '73, after he let the shot go under his body, which cost England the match and failed to qualify for the '74 World Cup. I knew it was linked to a World Cup, so was that the match then, or was that just the reverse fixture that season? But anyway, so if I shaved it off, I'd look like Gordon. Yeah, maybe I probably would, but he used to have hair like mine, so maybe one day I'll end up like him. I don't know. Would I love a big marquee signing just to show the world we mean business? Maybe. I would like a striker who could score goals. That would be good, wouldn't it? I'm not really fussed about big marquee signings. Like, obviously, I want better players, and there's certain players who we could buy who'd be very exciting, I'm sure. But honestly, I'd just rather we were sensible, and because we've got a budget to spend money, I just there's got to be good young players out there who could come in and do a job, who would be better than what we have now, and then build it up like that. I don't know. I remember Man City when they first had a lot of money. They bought Robinho, didn't they? And they paid an absolute fortune for him, and that was proper marquee signing stuff. That was just I don't even think he wanted to be in Manchester, but he just came for the money. I don't really think we need to do that or want to do that. I think we can build up just by being more sensible with what we're doing. That would be my view. I think they had to have blonde hair until they got beat. Right. Okay. So was it like some sort of dare then? I guess. So this is the Romanian team in the World Cup, all bleach blonde hair. So they bleached the hair and then they had to keep it like that until they got beat. Did they get beat quite soon? I don't know. Shouldn't it be until they won? I don't know. Yeah, Peter Shilton. I'd never saw Peter Shilton plays before my time, but obviously I've seen a lot of clips, and he's talked about fondly, isn't he, as a great keeper. So there we go. He got abused for not stopping the Polish goal, yeah. Morning, is Ellis. If I could sign a championship striker and a defender from the Premier League, who would you get? Honestly, my knowledge of the championship's shocking. I honestly don't know even who half the teams have got. So I don't know about that. A Premier League defender. I mean, who would come? That's the question. Obviously, there's loads of Premier League defenders you'd want, but would they leave their teams at the moment? I'm not sure they would. So I think we've got to be realistic about who we can attract initially as well. This is why it's got to be a gradual build, because it's got to be. You can't just go from mid-table to Champions League. It's just not going to happen. So you've got to build it up each season, and then at each step you can attract better players, I think. The investment. Ahmed says the investment is part of a bigger programme for the city. Yeah. I think we'll see a lot of money spent outside of St James's Park as well. I think the fact that Reuben Brothers are on board and their property guys suggests that they've got plans for wider regeneration in the city, which will be amazing. Andy Worth, Jack Grealish, yeah, it's a yes from him. Yeah, I mean, clearly the guy is a good player and he would improve our team. There's no doubt about that. So I would probably take him at the moment. And if Villa do get relegated, which could well happen, then he'll be looking for a new team. So maybe that's the kind of step up that we need initially. Just sort of someone who's better than what we have at the moment. So I would kind of agree with that. He's one of those players as well, isn't he? Who, if he's on your team, you kind of don't mind him, but if he plays against you, you just think he's a bit of an idiot. So, I don't know. Big Bradshaw 10, any more news? Just the same. I think we're just at that point where we're just waiting for this to be officially confirmed. So fingers crossed we can do that. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do, I want to show you my football challenge. So obviously we're all in lockdown, sort of still. We should still be in lockdown. And at the start of all this coronavirus stuff, there was a football challenge that went around, which was doing kick-ups with toilet roll because everyone was panic buying toilet roll. So I had a go at it. I'll show you my effort, and then I'd like you, if you can, to beat it. So let me show you how I did first. Here we go. Ah, 12. So I only got 12, and that wasn't my first attempt either. I did have a few goes at it. I couldn't get past 12. I got 12 twice. Couldn't get past 12. So have a go at it, and if you've got a child who wants to have a go at it, see if they can have a go at it. I'd love you to show me your attempts. Obviously, you can follow me on all these social media channels. So Twitter's the one I use the most. So that's at Ian Smith YT. Use the hashtag #ISFootball, and then I'll see it if you don't mention me in your post. But that'd be quite cool to see. Can you beat 12 basically? Can you do more than 12 kick-ups with a toilet roll? And then I'm also on Instagram, Ian Smith YT, and I've got a Facebook group as well, which you can go and join. It'd be quite cool to get more people over there, because that's kind of like an open forum then. So that's Ian Smith on Football. If you just search for that, should be able to get in there. So yeah, have a go at it. Decent effort, thanks. Yeah, it was all right. I didn't have a lot of room in fairness. I did it inside, and it's not the biggest room. So 12's all right. I felt that was okay. There was a few 1s and 2s like that I didn't show you, but there we go. Be happy with 5. Yeah, give it a go. Honestly, it's quite fun actually. It's harder than you think. It's harder than you think to do. So give it a go. Where are we up to with these then? Let's have a look. Peter Robb, do you think Joe Linton is worried about the takeover? Surely he's got to be one of the first out the door. Yeah, probably. I mean, what I would say about Joe Linton is I don't think he's as bad as we've seen. I think that Steve Bruce's tactics and the way we play hasn't helped him. He's been isolated in most games. There hasn't been a lot of chances created for him. So he's been feeding off scraps. And I just think, okay, he might not be worth £40 million. I'm not saying that. But I do think he's probably better than what we've seen, and I think he, in a team that created more chances, I think he probably would have done himself more justice, and he's probably really frustrated at the way it's gone at Newcastle. But this is a team that have scored how many goals have we scored? Hardly any goals, maybe 30 goals this season, not even that. I don't know, and so it's not just him who's not scoring; it's just the whole team just isn't scoring enough goals. So. I do have a bit of sympathy for Joe Linton actually. Like I said, I don't think he's as bad as some people make out. Joe Linton's like a cart horse. Well, I guess everyone's got their opinion, but I'm not saying he's a world beater or worth £40 million or anything like that, but I just think he's probably a bit better than he is. Guybrush Threepwood. Cool name. Monkey Island. If no one gets the reference, go and check out Monkey Island, computer game from the 90s. I used to play that on the Amiga. Monkey Island 2, Fearsome Pirates and all that. It was great. Has anyone else played Monkey Island? Because that's a cool game. Anyway, what does Guybrush say? We need fullbacks, centre midfielders and a goal threat. Yeah, I mean, we're good for a top 6 next year. Yeah, so it's not a case of like ripping everything apart and buying new players everywhere. It's identifying the positions where we need to improve, and then eventually over time building squad depth too. Toby kind of agreeing with what I say there. He's not playing his proper position. He was bought to spite Rafa and not number 9. Yeah, it was a bit odd really that. I think Rafa didn't want to buy him, did he? If that's right. Let's have a look. Tom says we'll need to be thick-skinned if the takeover goes through, as there will be lots of jealousy and criticism. I mean, that's already happening, isn't it? There's already a lot of criticism coming our way as Newcastle supporters, and I think a lot of it is, most of it is completely like, what are we meant to do? I just think we have no control over this takeover happening. We've got no control over who the owners are, and I think that we just support Newcastle United, and yeah, there's moral issues, but at the end of the day, we've got no control over who buys the club or runs the club or how they run the club, and we never have. So to suddenly put it on Newcastle supporters to be the people who object to what Saudi Arabia do, when there's a million other things or people that could or should be doing things about that, perhaps. Why is it being pushed on Newcastle fans as the bad guys? I don't really understand that. But yeah, I think from what I've had conversations with Man City fans, and they're basically saying that it never stops. So like they still get it now about human rights issues in the Middle East and the UAE and all that sort of stuff. So it's not going to stop. But at the end of the day, once it's all happened and football's back, most of the focus will just be on the team and football, and I think that's all something that we all really want to happen, isn't it? Toby's managed 3. Well done. Just keep trying, Toby. You'll do it. You'll get more than 3. Yeah, Joe Linton's a good player, not a goal scorer, says Andy. We need to see if he can fit in another role. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a couple of things. Yeah, he's not being played in his position. The supporting cast with him isn't really good enough at the moment, and I think in a sense he's been a little bit hard done to. Get Longstaff signed. Yeah, I would absolutely get the Longstaff signed and get Matty a decent contract. Come on, see if we can build a team with them in it. See if they can reach that level that we want to get to. It'd be really good to see a couple of local lads in that team as we go through this process. And you've got to remember, I always think teams like Chelsea, when they kind of got taken over and started winning everything, they had a core of British players, didn't they? They had John Terry, Frank Lampard, Ashley Cole, and so there was British players in their team, and I think that's really important. I'd like to see that, and obviously if you can get local lads in there, even better. Big Bradshaw 10 says, after 13 years of rubbish, I won't give a damn what other people say. Just excited to see trophy attempts again. Yeah, totally. I think the thing is, we're all so fed up with Ashley that it's just like, just get out. We just need someone new in, and hopefully, like you say, a team that tries to compete. No one's demanding trophies. No one's expecting that we're going to win loads of things. I'm not anyway. But I do want to see a team that is trying to win those things, trying to compete, trying to be the best it can be as a sporting club. Because what's the point in a sporting club existing if it's not going to try and win? Every team should be trying to win, even if obviously most teams don't win stuff, but you've got to try and win stuff. Otherwise, what's the point in existing? And that's how I've felt, certainly the last few years of the Ashley reign. It's just been completely pointless because there's no ambition to try and be anything better than in the Premier League. Toby says, let's not forget our 2011-12 season. Spent very little, but we had a good recruitment and bought smart. No squad depth. We didn't have squad depth that season, you're right. But it was a good season, and it was criminal. And again, it's kind of a recurring theme with Newcastle. When you get a good team, you've got to build on it, because if you don't build on it, if you stand still, you go backwards. It happened when we qualified for the Champions League. We only brought in Lee Bowyer, and then we didn't qualify through the qualification game. We lost to Partizan Belgrade, so we didn't make the proper Champions League. And then we kind of just slid backwards from there. And then it happened in 2012 as well. After finishing 5th, I think we brought in Vernon Anita, and that was it. And we just went backwards. And you've got to build from a position of strength. That's a lesson for any team, and it happens time and time again in football. Yeah, we can take the flak, Peter. We can. At the end of the day, I think we're all pretty thick-skinned as Newcastle supporters, really. David Doyle, morning. I think the backlash from protesters will be short-lived once it's officially announced. I think once it's announced, like I say, I don't think it'll go away fully, but I do think once the focus is back on the team and football happening in the Premier League, it won't be the main story all the time. So yeah, it will kind of die down a bit, even if there'll still be an element of people there constantly going for it. And I'm sure our friend Miguel Delaney over at The Independent will be the cheerleader of that group. Yeah, so yeah, I'd love a cup final appearance, Peter. It would just be good to have a cup run, wouldn't it? A proper cup run. I mean, we kind of had one this year, and then it got stopped. But yeah, it'd be nice to do it. 13th anniversary of Ashley taking over. Keith says it'd be perfect if Ashley's ownership ended this last week. Yeah, 13 years and done, hopefully, and he's out. Let's get rid of him. The season we bought, Andy says, the season we bought Kabay was good, but also worked against us as Ashley thought we could keep paying low fees and getting good players. Yeah, it was it was a strategy that kind of worked, didn't it, for a bit, and then the quality of player we ended up getting, trying to find these bargains, it didn't always work, and it did go against us in the end. Guybrush, just to play devil's advocate, if the I'll just say Mike Ashley. If Mike Ashley didn't buy us when he did, we could have been in serious trouble. Freddie had run finances in the ground. It is an argument that he stabilised the club, and I think I did mention this on Twitter the other day. I hate Ashley for all he's done, all the things he's done against club legends and the stadium, and his, all the stuff he's done. We all know what he's done. But to be fair to him, the club is healthy in terms of a financial state, and I actually think that has been a factor in why the Saudis are looking at us and maybe not other clubs, because the finances are in such good order. Now, I'm not saying that excuses 13 years of dreadfulness, because I don't think it does, but I do think that at least he's done that, I suppose. At least he's done that, and I think the potential to kick on and explode the club in terms of finances and income and stuff now is huge, because again, something I've mentioned in the past is, like, how many people out there, how many of you have sort of resisted buying stuff from the club shop, resisted buying new kits, resisted buying your kids new kits? I know I have. I've bought, I think, 2 shirts in like 13 years, and I think merchandise revenue could go through the roof with new owners. I really do believe that, and I think that's going to help us in terms of financial fair play and how that all works in the future and stuff. So we'll see anyway. Peter Robson, your most underrated, overrated players. Oh, that's a really hard question to answer on the spot. I actually asked my dad that last night, and it was a tough one. One of the names that came up actually was Laurent Robert, because I was always a massive Robert fan, like huge. He was one of my favourite players to watch, and but there was an element of Newcastle fans who didn't like him. They didn't like him. They thought he was lazy and everything like that. And I know that he could have games where he wasn't involved and all that stuff, and the highlight reels always look amazing. But overall, he was brilliant. Like, he gave you. There was always that chance with him that he could score a big goal, or he took these amazing free kicks. But what people forget is that he scored a lot of them, but sometimes they were on the road. Let's be honest, it could be worse, because I would not want to be in their situation at all. And they had a billionaire owner as well. Remember, he just did things a different way to Ashley. So. But this is, I'm not defending Ashley because I don't like him, but there is certain things that you can give a little bit of credit for. We're going to go from everyone's second team to the most hated team in the league, and I can't wait. Yeah, I'd rather we were successful and hated, I think, than plucky losers who everyone loves. Nizelis, he was until Michael Owen was until Joe Linton, obviously. Until Almiron signed, and then Joe Linton. So we have broken the record twice since then, but it took a long time because Almiron's only been here a year and a half, 2 years? I can't remember now. I've heard Acuna mentioned as an underrated player. I don't know. He was fine. He was okay. Maybe he was underrated. I thought he was a solid player, but nothing spectacular. But maybe that's me underrating him. Maybe you saw something in him that I didn't. Ben Arthur was overrated. I think Ben Arthur. if Ben Arthur had have played to his peak every single game, then he would have deserved all the hype he got. But he was so inconsistent, and that was so frustrating. If he'd have just applied himself, he had so much talent. He could have been one of the best players in the world. That's how good he was. Yeah, Big Bradshaw 10, exactly. So he's not bought a shirt in years, but the day Ashley leaves, he's going to go and buy one. And I think there'll be a lot of people in that situation. I think they'll have to be careful how many they make, because they'll be sold out, I'm sure. And Paul, I agree, got to go back to Adidas. It's the best make. It's just, I don't care what anyone says. 3 stripes, you can't beat it. Yeah, so Toby saying, good point about Ashley and putting us in the black and setting us up to be in a good position with the new owners. So we'll just see. But yeah, the commercial revenue, that's something that can massively improve, and I'm sure will improve. So you've got to remember as well, as soon as they start selling Newcastle stuff in Saudi Arabia, you're going to have a massive income stream from that country just coming straight into the club. So that's going to help us grow in terms of, and help with the whole financial fair play thing. So Gaz 3K, I stopped buying my season ticket 6 years ago and refused to go back under Ashley. Be nice to go back to the games and not be a fan that watches from home. Yeah, good luck to you guys. I hope you get back. I hope you get a ticket in, and you know. Oh, have you lost the feed? Sorry, I have had internet issues this morning, so I'm sorry if the feed went briefly. I hope it's all right now. Just saying to Gaz 3K there, I hope you get back into St James's, and I hope it's really soon. Obviously, as soon as this pandemic this whole thing's over, that'd be good. Pay your Wi-Fi, yeah. I don't know what's going on. I've got pretty good Wi-Fi normally. I've never had an issue with them. This morning it's telling me that it's slightly dodgy, so it's sod's law, isn't it? Peter Robson, unpopular choice, but Ferdinand is overrated. I don't agree with you there. I just don't agree. I just think I wish Ferdinand had played with us for longer, because I just thought he was awesome. He was powerful, and he was just one of the best strikers we've had. He was absolutely brilliant. But everyone's got their own opinion, Peter, and that's fine. Ketspire underrated? Yeah, possibly Keith. I think he was probably better than we realised. He was always obviously a bit part player, wasn't he, really, at the time he was at the club, but he came in and did a job and scored some goals, so that was good. Sir Les, yeah, it's Sir Les, so there we go. Okay, right, so just a reminder about, if you want to follow me on my social media channels, over on Twitter, Ian Smith YT, you can get me over there. I'm pretty active on Twitter. Ian Smith YT on Instagram, and Ian Smith on Football on Facebook. Go and join them. I'm trying to grow Instagram and Facebook in particular, so that'd be good if you could catch me over there, and that'd be cool. And also have a go at the kick up challenge. I'd love to see some of your videos. Okay, so IS Football, put the hashtag on Twitter. That'd be pretty cool if some people could have a go at that. Just one other thing. Obviously, football is back at the moment in Germany. Does anyone else play Super 6? These are my Super 6 selections this week. I don't know what anyone thinks, or if anyone knows much about the German league. I kind of looked at the table, looked at the form guides, and then just made my picks accordingly. I think Borussia Dortmund there playing Wolfsburg. That Borussia Dortmund going for the title. They always score loads of goals as well. I think Wolfsburg are doing pretty good. So that's. I'm just going to get the league table up on my phone so I can see actually. Wolfsburg are 6, so that could be quite a tricky game. But if you ever seen how many goals Borussia Dortmund have scored in their last few games, it's like, honestly, they just score like 3, 4, 5 goals every game. Mönchengladbach v Leverkusen, that is 3rd v 5th. So that's I've put a 1-1 draw for that. And who else? Yeah, Sport Club Freiburg. I don't know. Freiburg, I think it is, isn't it? 7th versus Bremen are 17th. So home win on that one. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking possibly about setting up a Super League, a Super Six league. So I don't know if anyone's interested in doing that. Let me know, and then I could possibly set that up and we could join. I know that the season's nearly over, but you can still create a league and then maybe have it set up ready for next season. So if anyone's interested in that, let me go. I shouldn't have shown these yet, should I? Because now you know my predictions, Dad. So Gordon Smith's my dad, by the way, in case you're wondering. So he's Anyway, so they're my predictions. So let me know if you'd be up for joining a Super Six league, and we could create that possibly. So let me know. There we go. So, right, has anyone got any more questions they want to ask before we wrap this up and get on with our day and doing whatever we do, getting the cans chilled and all that sort of stuff? Let me know. So let's have a look. A lot of support for Les Ferdinand in the comments. He was forced out. He was a criminal that we sold him to Tottenham for £6 million. It's just ridiculous. And it cost us, obviously, because then Shearer got injured and we didn't have a striker. Talk about underrated players at Newcastle, actually. John Dal Thomason, he's another one who suffered because of the way he was played. Because if you look at his career, he went to Milan and he played across Europe and he won things and he was successful, he scored loads of goals. And at Newcastle, he was seen as kind of like just not very good, but actually I think it was just again circumstance with John Dal Thomason. So you talk about an underrated player for Newcastle, John Dal Thomason's right up there. Cool, right, there's a few people saying they want to join a Super Six. So I tell you what, if you're on Twitter, just message me on there, and then put the hashtag ISFootball in on Twitter and just say that you want to join the Super Six League, and then I'll be able to add everyone and I'll set up a league and then we can do that and then it'll be ready to go for next season and maybe we can grow it as well. That'll be quite good. So that's good. So a few people saying that. So Toby saying John Dal Thomason, I think the size of the club got to him. Barton made some interesting comments about him the other day. I didn't see what Barton said about him the other day, actually. What did he say? So anyway, so that's cool. So get in touch with me on social media if you want to join the Super Six League. That'd be quite a cool thing to do. That'd be good. And Ferdinand said he regretted leaving Newcastle. There's a lot of people do. The thing is, there's not many clubs where you go and get such a passionate fan base, in my opinion. And maybe I'm biased on that, but I think it's genuinely true that if you put your effort in at Newcastle, you are adored, and that feeling of being adored by so many people must be like addictive, mustn't it? So I think when some players leave and go to smaller clubs, then they don't get that same feeling, possibly. When I say smaller clubs, I just mean like clubs that aren't supported as well. Just in case anyone's starting a big club debate, because I don't want to get into that. Just one other thing about John Dal Thomason, about the size of the club. I mean, the guy played for like Milan and stuff, so I'm not sure that's true about the size of the club. Get into him though, I don't know. I will look that up, Toby, and see if I can get that. Tom said season ticket waiting lists going to go through the roof. Yeah, and good luck to anyone who is trying to get a season ticket when all this goes through. I don't know what your feelings are on this, but what about, obviously we talked about improving St James's Park, but would people like to see St James's Park extended, made bigger? I think that there's still a possibility of doing that, even though the Strawberry Place development looks like it might actually go ahead. There's still an alternative way of expanding the Gallagher, I believe. Would people want to see that? Or would anyone actually want to see us leave St James's? Personally, I would hate that. I would rather we stayed at St James's and had a smaller capacity, personally. That's how I feel. I don't know what you think. Toby said it was more to do with him being thrown into a team at a young age, when Shearer was injured and no other strikers. Yeah, exactly, and it was just bad planning, wasn't it? We sold Ferdinand, Shearer got injured, and then it was up to him, and he was like the lone striker, and that's why he struggled. But then he did go on to have a really amazing career, so there was talent there, he was a good player, but it just didn't work out for him at Newcastle. We'll see. Yeah, the expectation was high back then, you're right. Okay. Right, I'm gonna sign off in a couple of minutes. So, like I said, just let me know on social media if you want to join the Super 6 League. That'd be really cool if you want to do that. And don't forget, I'm going to show you this again. Have a go at the keep up challenge with a toilet roll. The lockdown kick up challenge. Okay, have a go at this. Here we go. 12. So 12 to beat. Can anyone beat 12? Surely some of you must be able to beat 12. I don't know. Give it a go. And then when you've done that, pop onto social media, use the hashtag ISFootball and show me your attempts. And if you've got a child who wants to give it a go, get them to have a go. See if they can beat me. I'd love it if some of them could. Okay, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate all the comments in the chat. Hopefully we'll do this again next week. And also, if you want to be... just before I go, hang on a sec. If you want to be like the fan of the week and have a little chat with me and show your clip next week on the live stream, then get in touch with me again through the social media channels. That would be really cool. Okay? Thank you very much. And I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you really soon for another live stream.